Good afternoon. So this will be a short agenda video for today with regards to science mostly. So we're having a little bit of, I would say, delays, especially with regard to electrolysis. But hopefully today we'll start the show. Soon I'll buy some stuff. I need some food and just basic stuff, and then get back home and start some science stuff after I prepare some food. I would say that the good news, one aspect in which I think, we're actually ahead of schedule, as they say, is the quantity. Size. Titans like size. Like Titan females, I don't know what Titan males like because I don't know them. I just know the females, but maybe they also like size. But anyway, so with regards to size, we are pretty good, like ahead of schedule. Yes, I prepared a tremendous amount of the trend bacteria. I wasn't able to create monsters, even though I'll keep working on it because it's interesting and I want to show you how it's done. But I created a tremendous amount, much more than I expected, of huge ones that are not monsters. Still huge ones. What you've seen yesterday are huge ones. And that's because what I've done is, remember, I had 3 crucibles this size, like this size, here. By the way, when they get really large, you start to actually watch them like on the surface. Like, they look like hairs on the surface. You see hairs that, bukot, like hatching from, not hatching, like, novtot, how to say ninbot, like, when you put like this, the nevet, nevet. Like, just when you put the seed on the ground and then you see like green stuff coming out of the ground for the first time. So you see like that, but the ground is actually made of hardened oil and beeswax, and it's not green, but it's like, let's look at hairs. These are the huge, the colossal ones. Should be said that the ones we've seen yesterday under the microscope are also monsters by the standard of what you can find in your own bodies. And we've seen tremendous amount. That's because, so I had 3 of these crucibles, if you remember. And then I mixed the stuff and I poured quite a bit into those 2, the bigger ones. Those 2. They're considerably bigger. At least 2 times, not 3 times. And although they are filled much more than, yesterday I burned some stuff. Like, I wanted to get rid of some of the stuff. So I burned some stuff. I just did like, just casual burning, like with the 3 crucible that is not intended for symbolic purposes, but instead it's intended for amplifying the, the bicycle effect. When you burn the neos, so I placed actual stuff from the crucibles, for the big crucible. That's why you see that we have lesser than yesterday. I placed it here on the crucible that are used for fire, not necessarily for for creation of stuff, but for fire, for the destruction of stuff. But still, we have tremendous amount. Even after all this burning of yesterday, we still have tremendous amount, much more than I expected actually. And also tremendous amount of the trend bacteria. Now, I actually don't need that much of trend bacteria, so but I don't need that much. So what I'll do today is probably do the following. I'll create like, as I said, I'll take like small amount of the mixture with the trend bacteria and the neos and place it like, in a small container, for preservation. Also, because I want in the future, like in the soon, probably maybe even tomorrow or so, I will want to actually, even though it's not pertinent for the current experiment, I will want to show you how, like monsters, like huge monsters that are visible with the naked eye. Because it usually takes like a day or 2 for them to be created, but I'm not sure why we haven't seen yet enough of these actually, or even one of these actually, because in the past I've created them pretty quickly, even though not immediately. It takes like a day or something like that. Like to create like the 5 centimeter, 8 centimeters. I think it's because maybe we always add stuff, like, we always add more and more, like, volume. So maybe they cannot, like, the needles are always kind of like diluting, so they cannot work, like, to create the monster. But hopefully soon we'll show you some monsters. So what I'll do is, but we have a good amount, like, already. We started from basically nothing, and we have, like, now, and even after the burns, because I wanted to amplify them. Yesterday I wanted to amplify the effect, with all the sound effects. So, and I know that the oven. So I wanted to amplify the oven. So I burned quite a bit. Not cooked, burned. There is a difference between cooking and burning. Like I burned on the crucibles, like, on the not on the working crucibles, but on the burning crucibles. Not the same. Actually, I don't know how to do it using electricity, like the electricity mode. It's another kind of like advantage for fire. Fire is dirty and disgusting. Electricity is much better. That's why I started with electricity. For many months, I used only electricity and electrolysis in particular. But there's all sorts of advantages to fire, and one of the advantages is that, first of all, that's how the Israelis are activating the bicycle mechanism. The easiest way to do it is to smoke. There are other ways, but they just smoke. And what they do is they burn, they just burn some, needles that are in their own body. When I say burn, you don't burn the thing itself. You burn the mixture where it lives, and then it's a question what happens to it. But like, it's a very philosophical or physical question. But in practice, it's just gone. I don't know how to do the same thing using electrolysis to achieve the same result, or using electricity in general. Yes, you could do high voltage electrolysis and, basically put like just wait until, and use, not too much oil, but enough oil for them to survive, for the needles to survive, and water, mostly water stuff, and then wait until it all burns, because you can also, you can burn it, with electricity as well. But then you get the smelly thing, you get the same smelly effect. Even though less noticeable, but you do get, the smelly effect. Maybe that's the way to do it with electricity. Like it's not like, this best way, the electricity and heat, it's not equivalent. You understand? Like, we still study this issue. It's interesting. Anyways, with fire, it's easy to just burn the needle to amplify the bicycle mechanism, but, a million times stronger than what you do if you just smoke. That's by, instead of using 2 layers, like of the symbol layers, like, this, and the workbench, you don't use the workbench. You only work with the symbol layer that is made of crucible that you burn, the material. And for that, it's actually better to have a material that is oily based or wax based, of course. Okay, so what we will do is the following. I will want to reduce significantly the amount of bacteria that we created in the metal crucible. So that's what we'll do today. So I'll use the configuration of the 3 together, like this, like not just work on one on top, but 3 workbenches. Symbolically, it's kind of like, it means like, do things globally, and also do things even after, like, when I'm not, like, part of the show. There's like a difference if you want to create, to make the effect viable only when you're there, when you're near the construction. Usually that's what or if you want, like, to be permanent. If it's permanent, it will be less effective. At any given point, but it will be permanent, which means it will keep going on. And with two workbenches, you don't get this, this kind of permanent, I would say, effect. And if you work only with one, which is, then it's better not to do it, just one. I try to avoid it, even though sometimes I do it, because when you work with one, there is always kind of like, the problem of, of interpretation, like that you are the second one actually, so you will be part of the construction. And if you stand above, if you stand below, it might be beneficial, like if you want to play this game. But if you if you stand above it, then you might be interpreted as the upper one, which means the workbench. It might be, it depends, it might be kind of beneficial. It's a question. So we'll work with three. The same way we created, initially, the three crucibles, we created the large amount of trend bacteria, but now I will prepare new symbols, the negative symbols, that of course are used to signify, the dead trend bacteria. I will not paint these ones because they were proven to be successful, so we want to just keep it like that for next, for future usage, which might be very soon for the creation of the monsters. I create something similar, but but in the black and gray color scheme. Black and gray color scheme. And then we'll light a fire. I will light a fire, and what we would want to actually probably with three crucibles, like in the lower level. So we will, but so we'll maybe like on the way we'll create even more neos, like less bacteria and more neos, and after some time we'll check if indeed. The results from yesterday was significant enough, like to actually see that the trend bacteria is either gone or tremendously reduced. So that's what we'll hopefully see. Hopefully more neos, but certainly less trend bacteria in the three crucibles. And if it works, but not in a significant way, but we'll still see remnant of the trend bacteria, we'll do maybe additional fire until we don't see it anymore. And then I'll take all the material that I have, which is and I'll place it like in one, like in long range, long-term container that will be used for I would say like what happened in the hostel, that every evening I'm doing it will be used most for when new material is created. I'll place it in the container, the metal container. Like in the hostel, and every evening I'll take part of it and burn it on the crucibles, to amplify the bicycle mechanism, and also because if I have too much, I don't know what to do with it, so I need to burn it. But also it will amplify the bicycle mechanism, which will allow everybody to enjoy the Israeli oven, which is so great. Now with the small amount that I will keep, separated of the trend bacteria mixture, the relatively small amount. So part of it will be used to create monsters, as I mentioned later, and part of it I'll use just for the slides, I will try to watch it under a slide, like what happens when they are. When they are fighting each other. For that we will need again to create additional set of as we mentioned, the set of symbols, of negative symbols of the trend bacteria that are suitable, to be placed under the microscope, which is a little bit somewhat of a curiosity. But I mean, hopefully we'll manage to do it, and even connected to electricity, so it'll be energized, and hopefully all of that will be done in a safe way. Now regarding electrolysis, so maybe all of that, I'll do it before start electrolysis, because for the electrolysis, I'm not sure I want to start electrolysis with hefty amount of 10 bacteria. Like, maybe not. Not because it's in itself a huge problem for the neros to live with the 10 bacteria, but because, I mean, it's kind of like like why make it more complicated? Like, I mean, what you want actually is to create the, to show this over here. The 10 bacteria is not related to this objective in any way that I can think of. So what I'll do is, if you are successful in like purifying the mixture from these big containers, and keep, of course, the neros intact in it, like even more so than before, I'll take like a couple of spoons, maybe 2 spoons, 1 spoon for each of these cups that you see already on the grill, on the plastic grill, and mix it with plenty seawater. And that will be our mixture for the electrolysis, and we'll start by producing neros in the electrolysis pathway. That will be the idea. So we'll first, because this is actually a good mixture to start with, because I mean, it's plenty of, you've seen it, we have plenty of neros in it, and all sorts of sizes. But I'm not sure why should we contaminate the electrolysis experiment with 10 bacteria to begin with, even though if there is a little bit, it doesn't really matter that much. But I mean, now there is much more than a little bit. So better start without it. I think I don't see any advantage in starting with it. There might be some advantage, actually. No advantage that I can think of. No. No. Now, so yes, that's the plan in general. I think we are pretty much we have our kind of like our vision for how to continue. I think. What's more, then pretty much that's it, I would say. And there are also like new innovation, like mostly with regard to the symbolic language, all sorts of things I want to test, but it's not very important, like very urgent. And I do want to continue, and also I want to show you how it's skilled, because I mean, you've seen tremendous amount created. Like after yesterday, I mean, I imagine nobody else, think that this is something that is like rabies that were created like inside of a burnt crucible. No, rabies, they are not created that way. And we do not need like, huge monsters in order to continue. Like, it's just nice, but to put it again, I know, for the Colosseum, maybe monsters are even not, I mean, maybe the scientific value of watching the neros killing a huge monster, it's fun, but maybe it's actually of less science value than watching it killing like huge ones that are not monsters, like something that you can actually, maybe found in your own body. Because, I mean, like the real monsters, like that you can watch by the naked eye, I don't imagine you can find in your body before you are a zombie. And after you are a zombie, I don't think that you can give, I don't think that there is a way to recover from the zombie state. I mean, recovery is death. I mean, you are still alive, but you are a zombie when they're so big. So it might be of value, I mean, to start a Colosseum, I mean, to start, at least, first do it with, reasonably yet huge bacteria, and maybe later, I mean, if we are lucky with that, I mean, depends on results. I mean, we can pit it against like the real monsters, like the huge ones that you could see by the naked eye. So that's the idea, and hopefully again we will have also able to demonstrate DC over air, which is also very important. It might help us with the energizing of the neurons that are on the slide. That is, of course, an important objective. So that's it for now, I guess.